skill and a craftsmanship that goes into it. We like to say we're the masters of it.
The vast majority of snowmobiles around the world have Camoplast Solideal tracks.
What we have here, the impregnated studs that we do, Yamaha utility track, Arctic Cat, mountain track, and a BRP mountain track.
This Clinton County location is a significant part of a much larger global network. It's actually because of Camoplast's success, though, that what happens inside of this facility is one of Plattsburgh's best-kept secrets.
Usually when someone asks you where you work and you say Camoplast, I'm going to say, oh, well, what do you guys do? Well, we are one of the largest snowmobile track makers in the world. And they're like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah.
They don't allow tours to the public, and much of their exclusive track-making process is classified.
We actually carry our product from beginning to end, from the designing of our own tooling in many cases, to the designing of our own products, some of our own compounds.
This place is very, very confidential. What they can say is that process and materials make a big difference.
Everything that we build tracks out of here obviously is built with rubber, but they all have different varieties of compounds in them, which makes them more rigid or less rigid, more flexible, less flexible. And that is really driven, obviously, off of our customers' needs, how they want it to perform.
A rider wants a smooth ride, and it really depends on how well a track is built.
And they go beyond snowmobiles.
Our core is off-road tracks, wheels, and traction systems. In addition to manufacturing snowmobile tracks, in this plant we're also producing tracks for ATVs and UTVs. We're producing tracks for all-terrain wheelchairs. We're producing tracks for a new product that's hit the market in the last couple of years, snow bikes.
He says the majority of sales go to the big four original equipment manufacturers: Yamaha, Polaris, Arctic Cat, and BRP. It's a very seasonal business, spiking around late May through November. They need to have tracks ready to go for manufacturers before winter begins.
Located within a couple miles of this facility, we keep a healthy amount of finished goods inventory. Those are two different categories. One is for our original equipment manufacturers, the snowmobile manufacturers, and we're delivering to the assembly lines. And then we also have a strong aftermarket business as well. And so any time of the year, someone may go into their dealer and ask, order a track, and we need to have that track available to them.
Another business strategy: protecting knowledge of how they produce these products. After all, quality sells. And when it comes to tracks, it isn't just about putting the same parts together.
Whether it be the width, the thickness, the duro, there's many, many variables. We could pick one track out, and there's so many different things in one track that another track that looks visually exactly the same would have no resemblance in it. It would not even work the same.
Hence the need to keep a secret. For Mountain Lake Journal, I'm Tamika Weatherspoon.
And Larry McGinn joins us now, plant manager here in Plattsburgh. Welcome.
Thanks for inviting me, Tom.
Nice to have you. Your company designs and manufactures rubber tracks and off-road tires for all kinds of equipment, but here in Plattsburgh, it's really specifically tracks for snowmobiles and ATVs, and mostly snowmobiles.
Yeah, that's true. So here in Plattsburgh, our focus is on snowmobile tracks, ATV tracks for the most part. But one of the things that most people don't know is that we're part of a much larger organization where we're manufacturing tracks for all sorts of off-road applications. We have an agricultural business unit, a material handling business unit, and a construction business unit. And so worldwide we have over 7,000 employees.
And that's where you're seeing probably the most growth in those type markets.
We're seeing a lot of growth in those areas, organic as well as through acquisition as well.
But here it's snowmobile tracks, and you guys are really the leaders when it comes to making snowmobile tracks.
That's for sure. There's about 150,000 snowmobiles registered every year. You'd be hard pressed to find a snowmobile on a showroom floor that doesn't have a Camoplast track on it.
All the major manufacturers, Skidoo, Arctic Cat, Yamaha, Polaris.
Worldwide, our market share in the snowmobile industry is about 85% worldwide. Here in North America, it's much higher than that.
How many tracks do you build a year out of the plant here in Plattsburgh?
So of the 150,000 tracks that are registered, we're producing just about every one
Are
of
you
them.
really?
Yes.
So the factory is going 3 shifts constantly?
24/7. We're a very, very capital intensive business, and so equipment utilization is really important to our business model. And so yes, we're running 24/7 around all year round. for the most
How many
part.
employees do you have here in Plattsburgh?
We have over 150 employees here supporting that operation. And since we're an operational entity here in Plattsburgh, with our R&D center up in Magog, Quebec, where our corporate headquarters resides, most of those individuals are shop floor and operational individuals.
Mm-hmm. And now you mentioned your company is headquartered just across the border in Quebec. So when it came time to expand, was Plattsburgh a very easy place to choose because of its proximity to Quebec?
Yeah, sure. The proximity was certainly important. Also important, equally important perhaps, is that Plattsburgh has a pretty good workforce to select from, and also the climate lends itself to snowmobiling, so it creates enthusiasts. So that helps out quite a bit. The other thing that's important to mention is that Clinton County and the organizations in Clinton County, whether it be the Chamber of Commerce or the Development Corporation, Clinton Community College, SUNY, they've all have programs that support manufacturing. That is really important for us.
What special skills or qualities do your employees have and need for their jobs here?
As in any manufacturing facility, attention to detail is probably the most critical attribute. The other thing is the willingness to be continually learning. Every year it seems that our product life cycle is continuing getting compressed, and as we try to introduce new innovative products, the need to constantly be up to speed with new practices and procedures, new equipment, et cetera, that's pretty important for our employees to be on top of.
Say in the 60s, 70s, were there just a few different varieties, and now do you have just a whole array of different types of tracks?
So there are two things going on. One is that the stock of snowmobiles in the market continues to grow, and every year new models come out, and therefore we have new tracks that need to support those new models. And we don't let go of the customer at all. So we're producing tracks for snowmobiles that were manufactured 10, 20, 30 years ago. And so the customer never gets stranded without the ability to get it to purchase a track.
So a customer with an old Arctic Cat can come to you folks and find a track that can still work for that snowmobile
For sure.
30 years later.
For sure. And in addition to that, the design cycle keeps accelerating to feed the enthusiasts. And so we have probably introducing more models than we ever have each and every year.
And is that ongoing, that you're constantly looking for new types of tracks that perform better in different types of conditions?
Yes, that's true. And a lot has to do with the weather, and many of the enthusiasts now have set off to the mountains, and that requires a completely different track, and one that has a very high profile compared to a trail sled. And then on the other side, we have individuals who are sledding in conditions that may be a little more icy, and then we have tracks that have built-in studs. And so we're trying to get both ends of that market and everything in between. And so it creates for a very large number of SKUs that we have to produce.
And speaking of the market, what do you see for the next 3 to 5 years? Are snowmobile sales still growing?
Post the 2008 recession, we're seeing some pretty decent growth, getting back to where we were, and maybe even a little better than that. We're coming off a pretty good year. 2014 was a good year for us.
And being recreation vehicles, you were hit hard by the recession.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah.
But we're quickly on the rebound.
If you're seeing that now, that rebound, what's that mean for the plant in Plattsburgh?
Sure. So a couple things. You know, we try our best to level load the facility across the entire year, and also we have done a fair amount of hiring over the last couple of years to support the volume growth, and the balance is to hire into that growth, but at the same time make sure that we're creating a stable workforce for our employees.
Your facilities in Plattsburgh, are you maxed out, or do you have room to grow there?
We have a bit of room. We have a bit of room, and you know, the key to our success is to be able to grow our processes, grow our people, and be ready for new work. And whether that's organic in the snowmobile and ATV industry, or is that from some other business unit inside the corporation. Either way, we want to be well positioned to accept that.
Are you constantly feeling pressure Are there always competitors out there looking to take you on, and not necessarily domestically? Are you always facing the possibility of overseas companies looking to try to do what you're doing and take your market share?
So there are several smaller competitors, and that risk is always there and keeps us on our toes. It's a very capital intensive business, requires a significant investment. And so some of the small players aren't able to meet the volumes of our OEM customers. And then on the other side of the coin, that large number of SKUs to support the customers from 1970 to up to today, those are investments that we've made. They have been made. We don't necessarily have to make them again. And nobody's going to enter the market to produce a small number of tracks for the few customers who have a very old snowmobiles.
That probably creates logistical nightmares for you if you have to store all those tracks dating back to 1970 or the 60s.
Well, we produce them on a regular basis. Forecasting can be a little tricky, trying to figure out what's going on in the minds of people who own those types of sleds out there. But you know, we do a pretty good job of making sure that they're available when the orders come in.
You fell in love with snowmobiling. You would come up to Racket Lake on vacation?
Sure. So, you know, my wife Lisa and I have spent a lot of time in the Adirondacks. We're big fans of the area. And so when the opportunity came to be the plant manager for the Plattsburgh facility here for Camoplast, you know, that's something that was quite intriguing. It was actually my wife got us involved in snowmobiling a number of years back, and we started out with a single U sled, and after the first outing, we were hooked.
No kidding.
Right. And so now, being in this area, we're kind of slowly becoming enthusiasts to the sport. And for the most part, you'll see us out, if there's snow on the ground, pretty much every weekend. We're out and about on one of our 3 sleds.
Is this a dream job for you? You really love snowmobiling, and now to be able to work in this industry?
Sure. So, you know, I've been with Camoplast and in Plattsburgh for 2 years, and the decision to do that's been really a good one for myself and the rest of my family. So from that standpoint, it's been very, very positive. I don't think I'm here because I'm a snowmobile enthusiast, but it was one of those hooks that got me intrigued to really investigate quite diligently when the opportunity presented itself.
So Larry McGinn, thanks a lot for taking the time to come and be with us. We appreciate it.
Tom, it was a real pleasure. Thanks again for inviting me.